Hi, I'm Matt from Tubby Tarot. Welcome to another 10 Talk Tuesday. I want to ask you something that I don't think you've thought about. What happens to your decks when you die? Hi, and welcome back. Some say this is a macabre topic. I don't. I think it's something we tend not to think about. And it's something that I think, because of the amount of time and money and passion that is invested into our collections, we need to really think about this. What is going to happen to your tarot collection or your card collection when you die? I don't think you've really thought about that. Now, in South Africa, the law is that you can leave all your earthly possessions when you die to anybody that you want to. So if I want to leave my tarot cards to my fiance, I can. If I want to leave them to my sister, I can. If I want to leave them to my great grandniece, I can do that. But what I think we need to think about before we start going like, oh, okay, like let's leave it to so-and-so and let's leave it to so-and-so, is who is going to appreciate our collection the most? We spend an inordinate amount of time collecting cards, and I am speaking specifically to people who are collectors. We spend a lot of time collecting cards. We spend a lot of energy choosing those cards specifically. We also spend a lot of money. My tarot card collection that I have, my card collection, that's tarot, Lenormand, and oracle cards, worth about 45,000 Rand. That is a huge amount of money. It's a massive amount of money that is sitting on a shelf. Yes, I do use it, but basically I've spent 45,000 Rand on cardboard and plastic. Really, it means a lot to me. It means a huge amount to me, which is why I'm willing to spend that kind of money and why I have taken so much time and effort to collect the cards. But don't forget, your collection might mean nothing to your wife or your husband or your fiance. It might mean even less to your grandchildren or your great nephew or your niece. Okay, they might seriously not be interested in this stuff at all. So what happens when you die? Do you just die, move on, and your cards just sit in a box somewhere in someone's attic, waiting to be found by the people of 3 generations down the road? Or do you actually mention your cards and your collection in your will? Now, I think that's very, very important to do that. As I said, because it is expensive having a card collection, and it's also very precious. It's a hobby that you've spent a lot of time on and a lot of thought. So to let it just molder away in an old cardboard box in someone's attic or someone's garage, it's a sin. It's an absolute sin. The other thing that you invest a lot into the cards is your own energy. Every time you pick up a deck of cards, every time you look at a deck of cards, every time you just look at your shelves of cards or your big box of cards or wherever you store your cards, however you have them displayed, you are investing your energy into that collection, into those cards. And that is a part of you. Okay, it's you. It's your soul and your energy and your creativity and everything about you is in those cards. All right, and to say that, oh well, when I die, that I don't care what happens to those things, I can't take them with me, blah blah. Again, I say that is a sin because those cards contain a piece of you. All right, they contain a piece of you not only because of the energy that you've put into them, that they have actually stored, but also the amount of energy you've put into the choosing of the cards and the way you display the cards. So there's all these little bits of you that are in those decks. Okay. Now, oh, sorry, there's a fly has come in here. Now, you will say to me, okay, Matt, that's all good and well, but who do I leave it to? I don't have, nobody in my family actually gives a shit about this stuff. It's only me. Well, there are many places that you can give these things to. You can will them to certain institutions, okay, or you can will them to certain people that perhaps are not directly linked to you as family. Now, in South Africa, we have something called the Killie Campbell Museum. Okay, it is a museum here in Durban, my hometown, and what it does is it started off as collecting letters and diaries and books from the Campbell family, who were one of the first families in Durban. So it started off as that, and it just grew and grew and grew. And now what the Killie Campbell Museum does is they actually collect writings and diaries and cards and mementos and all that sort of thing from whoever donates to them. So this is what the Killie Campbell Museum does. It gathers all this stuff up and it creates these documents and it's these databases of history, okay, using everybody's diaries and things. Now you can actually, and I can actually, in my will, say that I want my collection of cards to go to the Killie Campbell Museum. I don't know if in your city or if in your country you have anything like this, but I can tell you that if you go to your main library, you could will all your collection to your library, okay? Those are places where you will find the cards are going to be really well looked after. They're going to be archived. They're going to be, I want to say, placed into historical context. They will be appreciated as part of history. That's the one thing you can do. The other thing you can do is, in your will, you can say, I want one of my family to get the cards. Choose a family member that you think would be interested in it. And of course, don't forget that you're doing your will before you die. So you could say you want your niece to get it because she is showing a great interest in spirituality and crystals and that sort of thing. And she has perhaps shown an interest in cards. So you could will that collection to her. You could also will the collection to your favorite local tarot reader. So if you know that there's somebody else in your town or your city that is doing tarot, reading tarot, it's a really nice thing to maybe get in touch with them and say, look, I'd like to do this. I'd like to will my tarot collection to you when I die. That is something else you can do. There are so many small things that you can do with your cards, or that can be done with your cards once you've died, that we don't think of. For instance, why don't you go to your local witchy store, your local esoteric store, okay, and say to them, look, when I die, can I will this? Can I put you guys in my will as a beneficiary of my tarot collection? You can do this not only with your tarot cards, but with your esoteric book collections as well. Any sort of esoteric, your crystal collection. Go to your nearest crystal shop and say, I'd like to leave this to you. Yes, people, it sounds quite morbid, and it sounds like we are kind of anticipating our death. But you know what? You are going to die. So yes, anticipate your death. Don't leave it until you're on your deathbed and then your last words are croaked out, leave my tarot collection to, and then you die. And nobody fucking knows where you want to send your cards to. Okay, so leave it in your will. Say to people, tell your family, say, look, this is what I want to do. I want to leave it to you. What you can also do, okay, and this is a last resort as far as I'm concerned, is say to a family member, your wife, your spouse, your whatever, husband, whatever, say to them, look, when I die, I want you to take these cards and I want you to sell them. Shove the bloody lot on eBay, sell the whole lot. I've moved on. I don't need them again. When I come back, I'll start collecting from scratch. Okay, so that is another thing that you can do. Think out the box. Try to think about what you're going to do with your collection when you are no longer around to look after it. Who would you like to be the custodian of your creation? Something to think about. I'm Matt from Tubby Tarot, and I will see you on the flip side.